Hi everyone, this is Lisa Cronin from It's the Little Things in Card Making, and I made my own paint for faux stained glass. So they have a product that they sell called gallery glass, and I used to use it many years ago. I've done a lot of projects. It's a beautiful product. However, it can be costly depending upon the colors and different finishes, and it's a little more work than what I'm going to explain here. I did not want to go out and purchase the whole line. I didn't want to go through that expense again. So I decided, let me see if I can make my own. Now the gallery glass that I'm talking about, I'm going to call it the glass paint, um, is made by Plaid. And what's also made by Plaid is Mod Podge. So I started thinking about it. And I said, this is a water-based product. It does and will be crystal clear when dry. Why don't I try adding some water-based inks to the Mod Podge and let me see what I get. And I got very similar results to the gallery glass. Again, gallery glass made by Plaid, Mod Podge made by Plaid. I just put two and two together and said, let me try. So the inks that I've been using to mix in with Mod Podge is Tim Holtz's Distress Inks. And I chose these because I have almost every color. And it really doesn't take a lot to make a color of this gallery glass. So I tried the Distress Oxides, and I wouldn't recommend them because they're part pigment, part ink, so then they're not as crystal clear. They are foggy. I think you can use any water-based ink. You might even be able to use some watercolor if it's a transparent watercolor. And that's what you would add to the Mod Podge. I am very happy with this because I have so many colors. So I started using it and I started working on it and tried to see exactly what surfaces would it do well on. Obviously, to make cards, I need something lightweight, hence acetate. Many acetates out there. The acetate that I was using was Simon Says Stamp acetate, and I'll show it to you. And it's a nice, lightweight, reasonably priced acetate. It's also heat resistant, which doesn't matter in this case because I've never heated up this colorful glass paint that I made. So really any acetate would do. My only consideration was that it be lightweight. You don't want it to be heavy. I have packaging that I tried using, and that creates a problem when you're trying to put the card together because it is kind of heavy and it is kind of thick. So this is much thinner. What I also have for acetate is Duralaw. This is great acetate, and it's also very thin. Very happy with both. I could probably find more that could be done with this. They're very clean, very lightweight, easy to cut, and very happy with it. So, a couple of projects that I've been working on. This is not finished, but it is very pretty, and you can see through it. You can see the colors beautifully. Then there's this one, which, again, very pretty. You can see the back of it. Now, I put an acetate on the front, which is how I did all the colors. And then I put another acetate on the back. And that's that shiny, sparkly stuff. And even though it's pretty, I'm not sure I'm crazy about this card because it's like two pretty things are competing against each other. And that may be just a little bit too much to take in. So I'm not sure how I feel about this. But needless to say, it's a card. I put it together and it'll work as a card. This was the first one that I did. And it's very simple. Just the die cut, stick it onto acetate, fill the pieces up with color. And I'm not going to say you're done, because putting the card together, that was my biggest challenge. And I did not want to make or start these videos until I was sure the best way to do that, how to put the card together. So this will be a two-parter, because I will explain more of that in my second video. This one is pretty much color and how I put the color down. First of all, let me tell you, I took double-sided tape, taped it to whatever color you want, die cut. Now, instead of making lead lines like I used to do with the gallery glass, it was like a liquid leading, and I would follow a design. I don't have to do that here. The design is made by the die. So all I did was I cut it out, I weeded out all the negative spaces, and now I can attach this to an acetate sheet and I can fill it in. That's how I did this. Exactly the same. So there's a couple of things. I will first show you how I made the gallery, not the gallery glass, but the glass paint. I'm going to call it glass paint. I'll probably call it something else down the line. But I'm going to take a little bit of the Mod Podge and pour it into a little container. Not much, because it really doesn't take much. Hoping I'm in shot here. I'm going to say maybe not even a quarter of this container here. Of course, I got the glue all over my fingers. Okay. I'm going to put this aside. And now I have to think about a color. I have some blues here. I have a light blue, a little deeper, and then like a purplish blue. I just made this actually. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just try Prize Ribbon just by itself. I know it's going to be dark. This is the darkest one I have, and really very little left in there. So I'm going to start with 2 drops. And I'm going to see what it looks like. It's a strong color. Now I can do anything I want with this. I can add green. Wow, that deepened really quickly. But I just love making colors. This is so much fun. Okay, this looks very different from anything I already have. So this is like a little dirtier, this blue. This blue is more of a grayish blue, and this is very light. And then this blue is more of a purple. So this is more of a true blue, I guess. And I think the blue that's in here is actually this blue. I mean, I've been playing around for such a long time, I couldn't swear to it. But I think it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this. It's mixed up. It takes a couple of minutes, not even. And I'm going to put it in a bottle. So let's see if I can do this without making too much of a mess. So that funnel is a little small. Now what I found in working with these products is silicone tools. And they're easy to clean. They're, things don't stick to them as much. And you'll find you may or may not have them in your stash, but you probably have everything else. You probably have water-based inks, and you probably have some kind of adhesive or sealer. Now you can use other things besides the Mod Podge, but Mod Podge was probably the least expensive. I mean, you could use glossy accents, much, much thicker, and I'll show you a sample of what that looks like when it's dry too. I did try different things because I wanted to see if what I had in my stash can do the job. And I was so thrilled that it does. So this is the last going in. And a little bit goes a long way, and you'll see that as I'm working with it. I'm trying to get as much of that in there. Now I'm going to take these tools. I have a big jar of water here, and I'm just going to throw it in. This will just make it easier for me to clean everything when I'm ready to clean. If you leave it to dry, it's going to be a little more difficult. So this is my jar. Let me show you my jar. And I have a couple in there because I made a color earlier. And I'm going to throw the stick away, but everything else could be reused. Okay, so I'm going to put that to the side. Now, because it's a water-based product, both products are water-based, I want to seal this and keep it airtight. I don't want it to start evaporating and becoming thick and useless. I have used these, and I don't know if I mentioned it because this is probably my third time around trying to do this video, but I've used these. I've made them and used them for at least 2 weeks. So they keep very, very well as long as you leave them airtight. I've had a lot of these fine point tips, and I just adhered them. Did have to buy more of these, which, believe it or not, is like really expensive, but I thought it was worth it. Now, the one thing I do want to say is I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if I'm the only one that's wanted to do this, but I'm hoping no, and I'm hoping that you have everything that you need in your stash to make all of the colors that make you happy. Okay, so let's see. Let me show you a couple of things. Let me show you the glossy accents first. So this is made by Ranger. It's a great product. Wonderful. It is thicker than the Mod Podge. It's a lot thicker. But believe it or not, it dries quicker. So, I mean, you can try it. You can see if you like it instead of the Mod Podge. This is more expensive than the Mod Podge. I mean, it's probably the same price as this. And you get, you know, like 2 fluid ounces here, 32 fluid ounces here. So I thought this was the best way to go. Okay. How they dry when they're clear. And I put together a little thing here. All right. Now, you can do your coloring of your dies, of your die cuts, front and back, or front or back. And I would do one or the other. So I made, you know, these tiny little graphs that I wanted to see what each one would do. And I'm probably doing this for nothing because I really don't, in my camera, I don't see a difference. But it's there. There is nothing here. And as I work my way up, you could see the reflection. And I can tell you what those are. And again, nothing. So there's 3 rows there. And this is on the front side. So it's kind of attaching itself to the die cut, which is important, I think. Okay, now this is the back side. The back side, it's a little thicker. Let me put this here. It's a little thicker. Let me put something in front here. All right, so there's nothing there. There's no gallery glass. There's no Mod Podge. There's no glossy accents. Now I go up, and you can see how it begins to warp. And that's not warping. What that is a reflection of what each sealant does, what each glue does. Because in essence, it's glue. You know, all of them are glue. I did purchase the Gallery Glass Clear. If I could find it, that'd be great. There it is. Okay. Because I wanted to do a comparison. So this is the Clear Frost. And it gives a little bit of a finish that's different. But again, costly. And I really didn't want to spend anything if I didn't have to. But I did want to compare it to a Gallery Glass product. Okay, so what I did here was, right here there's no primer. And that's what I'm calling the Mod Podge Clear, the Gallery Glass Clear, and the Glossy Accents Clear. So this, I'm saying, is a primer of the Mod Podge. This here is a primer of the Gallery Glass. And this here is the Glossy Accents. And each one of them are just a little bit different. And I don't know if you could see that. And that probably doesn't make it any better. So let me see if I can put color in front of it so you could see. Now you could see the difference. There's nothing on the top one. There's your Mod Podge, second line, third line Gallery Glass, fourth line Glossy Accents. So these are good, and I'm calling them primers because this is what I would typically start with if I was using white cardstock. And that's important because white cardstock will pick up whatever color you put down. Black does not. It puts down a bit of a shine on the edge of each cut piece. But I'm okay with that. But if you're not okay with that, then you can put another piece of cardstock on top. And that does, you know, kind of soften it up a little bit. You don't tend to see those shiny edges, and it depends. You'd have to play. Okay. So what I wanted to show, and I'm going to show with, I guess, I'll show with this color. I'm going to go over each piece. So now this is the back side. And using the back side of your acetate after you put your die cut on, it's good for a couple of things. If you're using white and it bleeds a little bit, it's okay. On the back side. But on the front side, if it bleeds a little bit, it's going to go into another piece of the image that you might not want that color. So this is pretty much like a little well. It kind of sits in there very nicely. And what it's doing is it's kind of sealing that particular piece of your image. So you can do this on black, you can do it on white. I wouldn't necessarily do it on black cardstock, but on white cardstock I would, because you have to clear down. If it slips into any other place, it's not a big deal because there's no color. Once that's dry, then I would go over and I'd start adding color. And the adhesion is a little better because it has something to stick to. So you got glue sticking to glue. I'm hoping I'm making sense. So on white, I would do a primer if it's white cardstock. Black, it doesn't really matter. If the cardstock gets some of the ink on it, it's not a big deal. I'm going to cover that up anyway. So what I want to do is just, these were the different products I tried experimenting with. Mod Podge with ink, which is what this is. Paint with alcohol ink. That didn't turn out so good. And Sharpies. Sharpies would work because it's an alcohol-based product and you can see through it, but it has to be a really, really full Sharpie. I mean, if it starts drying out, no. You have one chance to put the color down with the Sharpie. Because it's an alcohol ink, you can't put a second coat on. Because if your first coat is down there, it will stick and it will be fine with your base. But put the first coat down, second coat, it's going to disturb the first coat. Because, you know, alcohol ink, it does reactivate with alcohol ink. So Sharpies, unless it's very, very full Sharpie and you press really, really hard, it's fine. But to do a whole card, I truly think it's more work than it's worth. So that's why I stayed with this, because it's cheaper. You make it yourself. You have every color you can ever want. And it's fun. It is fun. It's not just a lot of work. It's fun. So the way that I apply it, I'm going to use this here, and I'm going to apply it to every one of these shapes. Not the squares, just these oblong shapes. I'm going to leave the clear clear. I'm going to put the Mod Podge with the ink, and I'm going to give it one jerk. Not shaking it. Don't shake it. You'll get lots of bubbles. And I am then just going to apply it. And it's really easier, less bubbles, if you apply it from the bottom up. If you apply it from the top down, you're blowing air into what you've already laid down. Okay, so that's on Mod Podge. This is on Gallery Glass. And it really is, it's easy. It doesn't take great skill. Just a little bit of education, I think. And you can make some really beautiful things. And with the holidays coming up, I know I've done gallery glass projects for babies. For them to have something really colorful in their window. And yeah, so I would do stuff like that. Now, remember I spoke about the silicone tool. I did get some on top of the cardstock, and I'm just going to wipe it off, and I'm going to clean off my tool. Here I didn't get close enough to the edge, and what you want to do is you want to kind of touch the edge of your cardstock. You don't necessarily want it to go on the cardstock, but that's not a big deal because we are going to put another die cut on top of whatever design you're doing. So here, you see there's a bubble. Can you see the bubble? I'll bring it up so you could see the bubble. See the bubble? We don't really want bubbles, but I'm going to leave it for a minute. And I kind of think of it as a pimple. You know when you see a pimple on your face and you decide, oh, let me, nip it in the bud, and it's not ready to be busted, and what you do is you make more of a mess than there was before. But as soon as it reaches its point to break, it will break, and that's the same thing here. Don't be so quick to bust those bubbles, because all you're doing is you're making the pimple worse. Okay, so this color on all of the primes work really well. It's good adhesion, good coverage. And now I'm just going to close it up. Now, paint with alcohol ink, I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. I have some Copics in this room. I still don't want to do it. You can try it. You know, it doesn't work out. So now I'm going to start popping my pimples. And if I wait long enough, they will pop more easily. They won't fight you as much. And guess what? Last week, when I was in church, I looked at some of the stained glass, and there's bubbles in that stained glass. Did you ever notice that? Well, if you ever pass another stained glass picture, look at that and look closely, and you will see bubbles. So, yeah, I guess, you know, there's one up there. And all I'm trying to do is take as many bubbles out as I can. Is it going to be flawless? Probably not. Is it going to be pretty? Okay, probably. But once, you know, you have it down, you take your bubbles out, you think you're done, you're double checking and making sure it's reaching the whole area, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't try to smooth it out, because it being bumpy and uneven like that, that's what's going to make it look like it's a real stained glass. So at first, I really wanted to try to keep everything really even and nice. And then I'm like, but I don't really see the stained glass, the dimension of that stained glass. I'm going to use another color now. And this time I will use like a pink. And I'm going to put it on where there is no primer. Remember? One tug, one jerk of the hand, and that's it. I mean, it's so easy. Don't shake the bottle, whatever you do, because you will get more bubbles that way. And I'm making sure that my glass paint is touching the edge of that die cut, because I don't want to have to go in. You can go in. You can go back in after it dries, and you can see if you missed anything. Now I'm just going to cover it up. Now, I do have that one bit bubble. You see that big bubble in the pink? See that? Okay, that pimple's not ready. Just not ready. So you can set yourself up with something like this at home. You can make some colors, not a lot, few, and you can do what I just did. And then you can look at it after it's dry, and this is where you're going to hate me. There is dry time. It's not like you can sit down and you can do this and you can finish your card in an hour. It's not going to happen. You really need to let it dry completely. Then you're going to get the beauty of that reflective property. Yeah, don't get mad at me about the dry time. It's a necessary evil. That's all I can say. But what I'd like you to say is, do you think it's worth it? Do you think the time is worth it? Do you think using your supplies is worth it? Do you think dry time is worth it? And then when we start to put a card together, do you think that's worth it too? I want to know, am I the only person that has been wanting to do this and has worked really hard to try to get the results I was looking for, and I'm so excited about it? Am I the only one? You got to let me know, because if that's the case, I won't make any more videos about this. This is sharing, letting you know different things that I've played with, what the results are, and I want to know, are you as excited as I am? I think we can do such beautiful things, really beautiful things. How many of us have dies, outline dies, that we could color in, see through. And I used to do this, and I used to make beautiful framed, probably a lot of 9x12s for people to put in the windows, because it looked so much like stained glass. It really, it's a lovely thing. Time frame wise, yes. I used to do a lot of it before I went to bed at night. I'd fall asleep, and then when I woke up in the morning, it was all there for me to play with. So I would say, depending upon where you live, these are the variables, where you live, what kind of what you're using, because as I said, glossy accents does dry faster than the Mod Podge, how thick you put it on. That will all determine the drying time. And that's only going to be known to you when you start playing. So I like the priming because I feel that the priming holds on to this glass paint better than without priming. That's just my opinion. Sometimes you may not want to do the front. You may want to do the back. And that's what I did here. This is the front, and this is the back. And I was able to keep it within, whatever shape that I wanted to color. You can do it this way. It's going to require a different way to make the card. I really like to do this if I am using white, rather than do the priming and then do the color. Sometimes I'm not in the mood to prime, so I'll do the back of the white card, and you are going to get color in here, which is no big deal because we're going to put another layer of cardstock on top of it when it's completely done. And then, additionally, another piece of acetate. So there's so much to learn. It's not hard. It's like anything else. You try it. It doesn't come out good, you try it again. It doesn't come out good, you try it again. And then it comes out really good, and you're really proud of yourself, and you're saying to yourself, oh my gosh, what else can I use? What else can I do? And you get really, really excited. So you got to give yourself a chance. Don't say it's too hard, it takes too long. You got the stuff, drag it out and try. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you was I did put acetate on the back here. And the reason why I did that is because I didn't want it like plain, clear, nothing here. And I didn't want to fill up this design with more color and more color. Sometimes I think, it's too much. Because sometimes the subtlety of the color is what makes it beautiful. Anyway, so I decided to try this. And I purchased this acetate, and I did get it from Amazon. It is it's called Cola Holographic. It comes in all different kind of finishes, and it's self-adhesive. And it comes in so many different and pretty, it's acetate, so it's one finish but design. Comes in 4 different designs in this pack. I thought the price point was pretty good. I bought it. Also, something else that you could use, and I'll get into this tomorrow, or my next video, is you can use vellum. Vellum can help you fill up your card front, your design, much easier than if you tried to fill it up with some of the Mod Podge paint color. And that I'll explain that tomorrow. So there's a few things. I've been working on this for a while. I don't know if you could tell. But there's a few things that we have to take into consideration when we do this, if we want to make a stained glass card and we want it to come out really good. I mean, I am proud, very proud of the work that I've done. And I'm sharing it because I'm hoping you guys will try it. I mean, how many dies do we have? Outline dies. That I think is a must. So a couple of things that I have that I'm going to be doing, and I am just thrilled. So this is in gold. I cut it out of this die. I do not have it attached. It's still on the double stick. It will go on to acetate. I will color it in. I've done this in black. Gave it to my daughter's boyfriend for his birthday. And it came out beautiful. I didn't take a picture. Should have taken a picture. It came out beautiful. I also have this one, which I may have showed you. This is not finished. Probably the last week, what I struggled with most was how to make a card out of it. Because I wanted to make it as easy as possible. I wanted to see if there were some options that I could suggest. This actually was the hardest part of the whole thing. Another thing that I'm working, work in progress. This is my goddaughter was baptizing her daughter. And I started making this card. Didn't finish it in time. Somebody's going to be baptized. So I figured I'll finish it up. This is going to be totally different when I'm done. I will show you this finished in the next video. And then we'll work on one. We'll talk about how to make a card. I hope I have some answers, whether you think it's worth it. If you have any suggestions, I'm open to that. We're here to share with each other. We are here to help each other. If you have any questions, by all means, I'll be more than happy to answer them. This video has gone on long enough. So I think I'm going to say goodbye and watch out for my next video, because that shows you a complete card. And I'm going to show you how to put it together. Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate the time you spent with me. If you can just do me a favor, I'm not going to say subscribe or, you can give me a thumbs up. That would be great. You could, most appreciated would be if you can just leave a comment if you think it's worth it. So far, is it too much work? That's all I want to know. Okay, everyone stay well, and remember, it's the little things in card making, and I'm hoping, really hoping, that you enjoyed this. Take care. See you soon. Bye for now.